President Trump claims the United States is already in discussions with a top Iranian official, but Tehran flatly denies any such talks have begun. The contradictory statements highlight the murky state of U.S.-Iran relations as both nations navigate potential diplomatic openings. BBC correspondent Lyse Doucet reports that while a small window exists for meaningful dialogue between Washington and Tehran, the prospect of a swift end to regional conflicts remains unlikely. Trump's assertion comes amid ongoing tensions in the Middle East, where proxy conflicts continue to strain international stability. Iranian officials have consistently maintained they are not engaged in direct negotiations with the current U.S. administration. The diplomatic confusion underscores the complexity of Middle Eastern geopolitics, where public statements often serve multiple audiences and strategic purposes. Any genuine breakthrough in U.S.-Iran relations would have profound implications for regional security, nuclear negotiations, and global energy markets. Whether these conflicting accounts represent genuine miscommunication or calculated diplomatic posturing will likely become clearer in the coming days. Israeli and Palestinian mothers united in grief walked barefoot through the streets of Rome, demanding greater protection for children caught in the crossfire of Middle Eastern conflict. The powerful demonstration brought together women from both sides of one of the world's most intractable disputes, their bare feet symbolizing vulnerability and shared humanity. Organized as part of a broader peace initiative, the march aimed to draw international attention to the devastating impact of violence on families and communities. The mothers carried photographs of children and called for immediate action from world leaders to prioritize civilian safety over political calculations. Their barefoot journey through Rome's historic streets created a stark visual reminder of the human cost of prolonged conflict. The demonstration represents a grassroots approach to peace building, emphasizing maternal bonds that transcend ethnic and religious divisions. Such citizen diplomacy efforts often emerge when official diplomatic channels remain stalled or ineffective. As international organizations continue to struggle with formal peace processes, movements like this highlight the urgent need for renewed focus on protecting innocent lives and finding sustainable solutions. A federal judge suggested the Trump administration's ban on AI company Anthropic appears more like punishment than legitimate national security protection during preliminary injunction hearings. Anthropic, creator of the advanced Claude AI system, is challenging the government's designation of the company as a supply chain risk, arguing the label lacks proper justification and threatens their business operations. The case represents a significant test of how far the administration can go in restricting AI companies without clear evidence of wrongdoing. Government lawyers defended the designation as necessary for protecting sensitive technological infrastructure, but the judge's comments indicate skepticism about the administration's rationale. Anthropic's legal team argues the ban effectively cuts them off from government contracts and partnerships, potentially crippling their competitive position in the rapidly evolving artificial intelligence market. The dispute highlights growing tensions between AI innovation and national security concerns, as regulators worldwide grapple with how to oversee increasingly powerful AI systems. This case could set important precedents for how governments can regulate AI companies and what constitutional protections apply to emerging technology businesses facing security-related restrictions. Britain's National Health Service waited 2 crucial days before raising alarms about a developing meningitis outbreak, a delay that health experts are calling indefensible and potentially life-threatening. The postponed response likely hindered early identification and containment efforts during the critical initial phase when rapid intervention could have prevented wider spread. Medical professionals emphasize that meningitis outbreaks require immediate action, as the bacterial infection can prove fatal within hours if left untreated. The 2-day delay raises serious questions about NHS emergency protocols and communication systems designed to protect public health during disease outbreaks. Health authorities have not yet explained why the standard rapid response procedures were not followed, leaving communities and medical professionals seeking answers about what went wrong. This incident occurs amid ongoing pressures on the NHS, including staffing shortages and resource constraints that have strained the system's capacity to respond effectively to health emergencies. Meningitis particularly threatens young people, and can cause permanent disability or death even with treatment, making early detection and swift public health responses absolutely critical. The delay's impact on patient outcomes and community safety will likely trigger comprehensive reviews of NHS outbreak management procedures. Britain's shared ownership housing scheme, originally designed to help people climb onto the property ladder, has instead trapped many buyers in what they describe as a wildly unaffordable nightmare. The program, which allows purchasers to buy a percentage of a home while paying rent on the remainder, promised accessible homeownership for those unable to afford full market prices. However, participants report facing unexpected costs, restrictive terms, and limited ability to sell their properties when circumstances change. Many shared owners discover they cannot afford to increase their stake in their homes, effectively leaving them stuck between renting and full ownership without the benefits of either arrangement. Rising service charges, maintenance fees, and complex lease agreements have created financial burdens that often exceed traditional rental costs. The scheme's problems highlight Britain's broader housing affordability crisis, where even government-supported programs struggle to provide genuine pathways to homeownership. Housing advocates argue the shared ownership model requires fundamental reform to address its structural flaws and better serve people genuinely seeking affordable housing solutions. This growing controversy will likely prompt renewed scrutiny of government housing policies and their effectiveness in addressing the UK's persistent affordability challenges.